Ci è arrivato un messaggio da Lino Banfi che ci diceva, adesso non si può dire, no?
No, dai.
Porca puttana, che dovevamo urlare, infatti pure Insigne l'ha fatto.
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adriano Donardo, Gianni Delacoli, and myself, Nicholas DiGiovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The intro song is Fireworks by Jazar. Martino and Jen, you guys are quiet. You got to sing along. You got to sing along here on the Calcio Guys. He's Adriano Donardo, Gianni Delacoli. I'm Nicholas DiGiovanni. Joining us this week, Martino Puccio from the State of Play podcast. Martino, how's it going?
Not bad, not bad. You guys hyping me up prior, during. So you're the Politano side of the doppelgangers, because it's kind of split. It's honestly, it might just only be Inter fans at this point that do Darmian. Pretty much. I don't know many others. It's been a while, but I guess it circles back to Politano though. Is a more recent one.
Yeah, but like seeing you like in photos, I could see the Politano all the way. But like seeing you like let's say in the camera, I don't really see it that much. Either Darmian or Politano. I don't. Maybe it's just photos that just because of the angle of the camera and stuff. That's where people.
I'm not photogenic. I don't know. I just don't. I look totally different in pictures than I do like in camera and person. It's just weird. I guess it's just one of those things, you know. It happens with some people. But yeah, I don't know. I never thought that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much that.
So since we last had a podcast, 2-3-0 Italy wins. First against Turkey on Friday to open the Euro 2020, and then today against Switzerland. You know, guys, we you know, at least here on the podcast, we hyped up Italy for how many months? We were so excited, and they come out with these strong performances. I mean, Martino, how are you feeling about this team?
I was one of those weirdos that liked us to win it back in must have been 2018. It was me. I don't know if you guys know Tony Malache is one of the other guys, and Phil, Azzurri fan Phil, who's obviously notoriously known on Serie A Twitter. We're like the three guys were like, we could do this, definitely worth it. Obviously I'm in the betting space, so I look at the odds all the time, and I thought they had great odds. And it's kind of easy, in my opinion, to project where teams and countries can go in the future. We had so much talent, and a lot of people, I thought, forgive me if it's an insult, but I thought they were stupid for kind of writing us off because of what happened in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
I thought there was it wasn't a talent issue. Everyone knew it that watches it. You guys knew it. Every other fan knew it. It wasn't about that, and that's why everyone was so angry. I thought that 2017 was more talented, you could argue, than the 2014 team that went to the World Cup. It just, the system didn't make sense. You had a guy who was just dumb in Ventura that was just way in over his head. And this team is just great. And the midfield is as good as it's ever been. It's deeper than 2006. And Verratti, today is the conversation a couple people were asking, do you even start him if he comes back? It's no. So you have one of the 5 best midfielders at his position in the world, and he's just not even going to start when he comes back. I mean, it's an amazing problem to have. And even Chiesa on the right wing too. The guy is the best. He's got the best work rate out of any winger in Italy, and he's your bench option. So if your guy like Berardi gets tired, you just bring him on. That guy can go a full 90 minutes, forget 60. If that's worst case, say someone gets hurt. The defense is a little shaky, but you could argue Acerbi comes in and that's it. I think that's the only weakness people are kind of scared of. but people are like, oh, like they're going to be susceptible to speed if like, they get exposed against like France and Mbappe. But it's like, that's only if they get possession like that. France have to hold that possession that whole time. Like they play great against Germany. I think our midfield is much better than Germany's. As good as Kroos is, Kimmich is great. I just think the balance that we have is way better. And I think it's going to show. So, yeah. I mean, this team is amazing. I think they're great. I think they're clearly the second best team so far. I give respect to France because France is that good.
Yeah, because I mean, like France, if you look at them on paper, like it's ridiculous how every player in each position is like a world-class player, and it's like, holy hell, like on paper, this team should win the tournament. Let's call a spade a spade. Like, I know the Germany game. I think the Germany game doesn't really tell the whole story. I think it was two juggernauts going against each other. Obviously, Germany is not as strong as they used to be, but your point about the French, yeah, if they have the time and space, and if they do it, as you saw Pogba's assist to the own goal, like it was a beautiful placement. Like that's why, like if you give them the time and space, they're just gonna punish you hard. So I think it's a fair assessment to say that we are proud right now in with the form that we're in. We're probably second best right now to win it.
And they're not. Sorry. Just one last point. I don't even think they're that much better at the back. Our fullbacks, like Di Lorenzo on his best day, like. Pavard's not that much better. Spinazzola, I mean, listen, Lucas Hernandez is awesome, but again, Spinazzola looks like the best fullback this tournament so far. Yeah. And, Bonucci, Varane give them the edge, but Kim and Pempe, like, he's not better than Chiellini. And Donnarumma, Lloris isn't even a conversation. I think Donnarumma is so clear of him. Mm-hmm. It's just nobody's going to notice that about Lloris because they had like no shots on target really, like because Timo Werner's coming in, he's not finishing any chances. So even at the back, like I think we're just better still. So yeah.
Yeah, and Martino, you brought up some good points, and obviously many of us, and this is before we get into like the nitty gritty of the games and analysis on both games, but obviously a lot of Italians were obviously hyped. We haven't seen Italy in a major tournament. We keep on saying it in a long time. And you know what? I think it's positive that this team started off strong the way they did. Obviously, there was maybe some question marks about, it's a young team, how they're going to do in a real competition, all things like that. But I don't know. I think the group, and I've said it, from a long time now, the group, the unity of this group is second to none. You can't replace that. Yes, you need good players, but when you have a good group of players together that play for each other, that spit blood for each other, the grinta, you see it, right? And it's a brotherhood, and I credit Mancini for that. And in terms of selections of players, you brought up a good point. Me and Nicholas today were watching the game together, and we were even saying when we saw Chiesa coming on, and Nick can vouch for me for this, like we've been saying it, it's like we have that luxury of saying, we can start Berardi or we can start Chiesa, and vice versa. We're comfortable with the change, you know what I mean? So we put our confidence in either of those guys who can obviously perform at a high level. We've seen Berardi start 2 games, and in my opinion, he's had 2 good games. Obviously got the assist on the Locatelli goal, the first one. So, and he's just always active, and Chiesa brings another spark. And like I said, we put our confidence in those guys. So, I think from top to bottom, this is a well-rounded team, and I'm totally, Martin, I don't know if you are, but I'm totally fine with people continuing to doubt us, continue to put us under the radar, and us just squeak our way through and go far in this tournament. I have absolutely no problem in accepting that fact, because you can doubt us all you want, but the performances are there. It's now 29 games unbeaten. Can make it 30 on Sunday on Father's Day, and we'll see where this team can go. But I don't know. I just think overall excitement so far to open the tournament with Italy.
I realize, Martino, usually we ask our guests when we talk about in the Serie A season, we start off the episode, we'll ask our guest, how did you become a fan of the club you support? Obviously, with the national team, it's a different story. Sure. So I wanted to ask you, some of your favorite memories as an Azzurri fan, and maybe how they compare. Let's say I'm guessing your favorite memory is 06. How do you think that team compares to this team right now?
As in, I don't know. It's so different because that's like the first real major tournament I could like consciously remember and watched. 2002, I was 7. I'm not up watching South Korea games. So 2004 was vague to me. You know, I remember it on some level, but I just don't remember that team like that. I just remember my uncles are just, on my mom's side, are all like super Calcio watchers. So they were angry. Like my uncle, like my one uncle is like insane. He just, there's always stories about him breaking doors from 1994. 2006. There's just the final was my favorite memory. I know everybody loves the Germany match better in the semifinal. But 2006 was just, it was my no like saying like it reminded them of 1982. They weren't just allowing a goal. And then my uncles absolutely hated France. There's like that generation that just like hates the French national team. I remember one of my uncles while they were going through like the anthems, him just hating the goalkeeper Barthez and just saying like he was so awful and how much he hated him. And it was it was like an after 4th of July party with my family. So it was like all my family watching it. I don't know, it was just amazing. Like I knew how great everyone was at the time. But the older like you get, you're like, okay, that wasn't as talented as 2002 was. Like 2002 was like a top to bottom a better team. This one, I love this team. This is my favorite team since those. 2012, it was like a special place in my heart with how deep we made it. And I felt awful like going into that final because it was like Spain had like 2 extra days of rest. Chiellini wasn't 100%. Thiago Motta got hurt like immediately, and it was just done. But this one is just better. It's just, I'm just like a little worried about France. But the thing is, like, France wins their group, we win, and we go all the way. It's like we meet them in the semifinals. So the semifinal game might be like, you know, the 2006 semifinal where it's gonna like our hearts are pounding through our chest. Like you know, like I just tried relaxing after Milan on the last Adriano. I'm sure you could like against Atalanta. Like I just like finally got calmed down from that one, and now I got to go back into this. No, I mean like listen, what was it? I think the stat was like we never won 3-0 in a Euro game ever, and we did it twice in a row.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
And even after the first game, me and Adriano, we were talking like, when was the last time Italy even scored 3 in a major tournament game? And I looked it up. Between the Euros and World Cup, it was 2006, the game against Ukraine. They did score, I think it was 4 in the Confederations Cup in 2013. I don't know if you want to include that in the conversation. Regardless, even that 8 years ago. So to do it 15 years apart and then, 5 days apart is incredible.
Incredible.
They could have had more in both, I thought. Immobile was like close today. And then Insigne too whiffed on like his first chance in that Turkey game. And then honestly, I still don't understand how that wasn't a penalty.
Thank you, Marty.
You know what I don't understand with so the explanation from some of these commentators. We have different, obviously, because you guys are up north from me. Their argument was it's like, oh, you know, like he's in a natural reaction with the way he's running back, and his arms like this. I was like, okay. How about every time Spinazzola is defending the ball right outside the edge of the box or right on the line, he's like this with his arms behind his back. He's properly prepared and ready on defense. But this guy's like running in with his arms up. Why isn't he running in like this? I mean, and this is why we get so annoyed by it, because we see the best defenders all the time in Serie A. Like we know what they're capable of doing. So I didn't find it any excuse to not call one that. And then with the Chiellini one, it's like, what is he supposed to do when he's jumping in like that?
Yeah, that
he's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the interpretation of the way it goes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And people want consistency, you know, and that's the one issue that like handball calls have had throughout the entire history of the sport. It's like it's been inconsistent throughout the years. I think it's been revised many times. What can you determine as a natural position versus a non-natural position? What can you determine as intent versus non-intent? Like, it's frustrating
because
in
the world.
Yeah, like because I agree with you. I've never seen a defender run with his arm like this. Like, oh, excuse me, wait, hold on. I'm just gonna try to stop.
Like, you know what he's trying to cross it in, and you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. And it was like far out. It's not like he's trying to hold up against his
exactly.
body. Maybe we just got like used to Serie A calling every one of those these past 2 years. Exactly. But that one was like, come on, right? But again, I mean, it didn't end up like.
That's like double A calls, like, you know what I mean? Triple A calls, like this is like house league, you know what I mean? Like in any imagination of any level of Calcio, in my personal opinion, that's a call, right? So again, let's not get too, excited about these calls, whatever. Italy won 3-0 in both games. I think let's start with the first game though, Marty. Going into the game, like, what were your thoughts? And what were your thoughts throughout the game and how the game ended? Like your overall overview, I guess, of the game against Turkey on Friday.
I think people were too dramatic in the first half about I think there was a good amount of people that thought we were bad and we weren't. It's like, watch the way Turkey was playing. They were terrified of opening up the game. And we all knew, like, if you know who Burak Yilmaz is, you're going to know, like, him on a counterattack isn't a threat at all. Like, that's what they were playing for. And they were compact centrally. And it's funny because, like, this team has, like, 3 generations of players, kind of. You have the Insigne Immobile generation of, like, they're in their prime right now. Like, this is their, like, tournament this year and next year with the World Cup. Then you have, like, the elder statesmen with, like, Bonucci and Chiellini. And then you have the real youngsters like Locatelli, Barella, Gigio. Like, there are 3 different generations. You got the leaderships that have been to a final. Then you got the guys who have come up short. And something I always think about is when Italy lost the U21 finals to Spain and Immobile and Insigne were on that team. And it just they got a bad rep from it, even though they showed up and they played well. And they get bad reps because of kind of the clubs that they play for. And it's like they don't win league titles, but it's also like, what do you want them to do with their teams? Yeah. I just think it was nervy. You saw Berardi and Locatelli had nerves in that first half. I was like, they'll settle in. Like, it's fine. I'm not really worried about it. And they couldn't defend the wings at all. Like, the flanks, Spinazzola just had their way with him. They anytime Insigne got the ball, 2 to 3 guys were trying to hound him and press him. Spinazzola's open on the left every single time. And I was just okay, they had their opportunities. They were ripping their shots. And then Turkey, they come out in the second half incredibly loose and not as compact, and we just tore them a new one. I mean, it just wasn't even. And Berardi, I thought got a bad rep in that game too. There was a couple of them were okay, bad plays, but the patience he had on Immobile's goal, settle that ball down, send it over to Spinazzola, where then he rips the shot. You see how everyone on that goal, Turkey just filters in towards the middle because he thinks he's gonna cross it right in front of goal, the first one that bounced off Demiral. He just patiently lets it down, floats it over to Spinazzola, and then they get the rebound. It was just great. And, Insigne too. Insigne and Immobile, it just doesn't seem like the pressure's getting to them. And for me, that's the most important thing. Because I have no worries about Chiellini, Bonucci. If Chiellini, whatever the issue with him is going to be. But these guys, we just needed them to be confident, and I think they were great the first 2 games, which is just so important to me. You just see the ball go in the back of the net. What is it? Immobile scoring 5 straight games now. I don't think he's done that before for the national team. So, I don't think he's ever been more confident putting on the jersey, which is all that matters. If you want to go deep.
That's a great point, because I think that's been the biggest stigma, if I can say, especially surrounding Immobile. I mean, we on this show we've been by his side. We've been defendants of his, and obviously I find Insigne kind of gets a bit of that heat as well, because just like you said, Martino, he is in his prime. He is still an experienced player. He brings the leadership in terms of his age and him being a captain for his club team as well. So. I think that's good points, and it's refreshing to see that these 2 players in particular started off very well, scoring, providing assist, just being active in the final third. If it's not making the direct assist or direct goal, they're just being present in the attack, and we go from there. I don't know if it's that, they're playing in Rome that is really boosting Immobile's confidence. I don't know. Maybe it could be. I don't know. But at the same time, whatever it is, it's working. And when these guys are on, we know how clinical they can be and how important they can be. And, we have to ride that as long as we can. And again, not only for them, I think for the whole team, it's a confidence thing that it needs to start early, and it has. Because again, it is a young team. They do have a great group, like I said, but to get these experiences and moments and confidence early, it's only beneficial for a team like Italy. So and I don't want them to get too high. I don't want them to get too low. If they stay the course, I think they'll be fine. But again, I do agree with what you said, and it's very positive going forward.
And just to add quickly to what you said, Adri, we said it before on the show that going into this tournament, Immobile and Insigne had to be some of our most important players.
This is their tournament, right? This is their tournament, like Martino said as well.
And we knew going in that they were probably one of the most informed players that Italy had, and it's just showing, and they're just continuing on that rhythm, and it's great because, you're playing in front of home fans. Usually, in my personal opinion, it would be the opposite. You would feel pressure. You would feel like you need to perform, you need to deliver, all eyes are on you. But they just seem as if they're having a party out there, more or less. They just seem like they're enjoying themselves. They're having a great time. And that's nice to see because it gives everybody else confidence. If you see your two leaders up front if your two forwards out of the three are okay, cool. Missed chance. Okay, I'll get the next one. It kind of puts a bit of confidence, okay, they're not worried, so I shouldn't be worried then. Let's just continue what we're doing. Eventually the goal's going to come. And every game, we've seen that. Eventually the dam gets broken down, we burst in, and basically we get the three. Well, I'm surprised, the 3 goals each game, so.
Berardi, is he in for another one here? Oh, it's an own goal. Spinazzola pushed out well, but Immobile tucks in the rebound. No more really than Italy deserve. Immobile, Insigne, 3. They've got 3, Italy, in a game in the finals of a European Championship.
You heard there the highlights from the Turkey game. We'll ask you about today's game, but we got a question on Instagram from Pizza Calcio. So I don't know what exact minute it was, but Mancini brings on...
I think it was around the 60th.
Yeah.
60th, 65th.
Yeah, about there. Mancini brings on Chiesa and Toloi, and surprisingly takes off Insigne and Berardi. You got a one like-for-like change, and then you're bringing off a right winger, you're bringing off center back. Pretty surprising, and, I think we all tried to figure out what, formation it was. You see them play a 3-5-2. So we got a question from Pizza Calcio. What did you think about those changes and that formation?
I think it's a good time to test something out, right? Because technically, even though I'm not scared on Sunday, you're still playing for the group win. Theoretically, Wales could still win it. So when's the time to test out a formation? When you're up 3-0 against a side where you're just basically it's in the bag, or whatever the score was at that point, where the game was in the bag. I think it was just interesting. For me though, it was just, if you put 3 at the back, Bastoni is way better at 3 at the back. I mean, he was arguably one of the 5 best defenders in the league this year. So I was just curious about that. And then even when he put on Azzurri as well, which is I respect him, he's a good player. But he put 2 right-footed center backs in. I thought Bastoni is the perfect replacement or complementary player. But again, Chiesa, amazing wing back too. You could play on the right side like that. I had no issues with it at all. And Immobile plays great when he links up with another guy, just like Lazio too. So I think he was just trying to be flexible and test something out. I mean, which is incredibly savvy of him. Which is, I don't even think we sung his praises enough so far. Yeah. The guy's just turned everything around. He's just a winner. Complete antithesis of Ventura, because, bringing titles that he was doing consistently with Inter, and then, you go and win with Man City the way they did. The guy Is he going to be in a more dramatic moment than that last game with City? I don't think so. So he knows what the pressure means, and he could get these guys ready to achieve something that they've never achieved before, much like City. So for me, I thought it was really interesting to kind of see that. Even though I'm very anti-Toloi in a sense that, like, I don't understand what the guy has done to deserve all this. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful like that. Mm-hmm. I just, I felt like there's someone else that you can go and get that's so rewarding. But again, hey, listen, if he's going to debut, I'm okay with it in a match that's pretty much done. So,
yeah. And like one of my own personal question marks going into the tournament was like, look, the 4-3-3, it's been fantastic for Italy. It's been working wonders. It's great. But my one of my issues was, okay, is he able to adapt in case? Because obviously soccer, you could have the most talented players in the world, but if you have like a mismatch in formation, you can get punished hard. And one of my question marks was, is Mancini able to kind of adjust with a different formation with his roster? And obviously the players are all talented on the field. They're able to, like, on a dime switch formation if they need to. And that was nice to see, in my personal opinion, like, okay, if we need to switch to 3-5-2, we can do it. Okay, that gives us another option or another, I guess, secret weapon if we need to.
And Martino, you brought up a good point about being prepared for these big moments. If you look at this team, no more players from 2006. It's the first tournament where they come in, and there's no players from 2006. None of these players won anything yet with Italy. Mancini didn't win anything yet. Didn't win anything as a player with Italy. He said it. This is his chance to kind of redeem himself, to win something internationally. But there's still plenty of experience. Players from the club level, you got a lot of Scudetti winners, only a handful of Champions League winners too. So, but I think because they haven't won anything with Italy yet, and they've gone through that heartache of 2018, failing to qualify in 2018, and then players like Chiellini and Bonucci lost in the final in 2012. They know how hard it is to win. They're not coming in with an inflated head. And I think that's really helping them. They understand how difficult it is, and they wanna seize the opportunity. And I think it was Donnarumma. He said after the first game, they don't want to get too high. Obviously, it's easy, with the way they're playing to celebrate. I don't know if you saw in Woodbridge in near Toronto today, absolute mayhem.
Fucking insane.
We don't celebrate like that in Montreal. We keep our heads cool until the final.
RDP was celebrating. I drove by Little Italy. Nobody was there. I just wanted to see it. Nobody was there. But then I see all my friends posting up photos and statuses from RDP, and I'm like, okay, everybody's celebrating on Buddhist Duplessis, apparently.
That's so funny. I saw it after the first match. I didn't see it the second one today. I missed that.
Yeah, both of them. People were going crazy. I mean, but just going quickly back to like the 3-5-2 discussion. I mean, when me and Nick were watching, I saw it. At first, I wasn't a fan, but when you sit back and kind of like, okay, if I think about it, and I said it afterwards, I'm like, I guess, like Martino just mentioned, I guess if there's any time to experiment, now has to be the time. It's only going to get harder. I think going down the stretch with in this tournament, you might face some teams that are not the Turkey or Switzerland's of the world, but it was interesting, and I think it ended up paying off. We ended up getting a goal, Immobile's goal at the end there. So you know what? I guess we can't be too angry about maybe that. Maybe we don't want to see Toloi, or maybe we should have seen Bastoni, or little minor tweaks like that. But at the end of the day, it was an experiment. It, I think, was pretty successful. Mancini smart enough to do that at that point in the game, and you got to get credit where credit's due, and it paid off. So it's exciting. I think I don't know if we'll see it anytime soon, but we know we have that. Mancini knows he can have that type of formation or that type of system, in the back of his head, just in case he needs to experiment again down the line. So it's good.
Marti, I just want to add something quickly, because Milan Weekly Pod put up, and I think it was them that put up that tweet of like, do you celebrate early or not, or Like, is it worth it to celebrate
Yeah.
group stage wins? How about you for down south from the border? You know, like
Yeah, New York.
and you're in the neck of the woods. Were people celebrating after the group stage wins, or has it been pretty quiet for you?
So New York is a very if you know about it sports wise, I'm sure you guys
Yeah.
do. Like if you see with like the Rangers, for example, Rangers start doing great, like everyone's just bandwagoning it. Same thing for the Italians over here. Like, man, like there are very few that are not very few, but it's a smaller percentage of people my generation or our generation that like know so much about the clubs and stuff like that. They come around every 2 to 4 years. So if they see something like this, they freak out. Like I have friends that were like, we're terrible, like heading into the tournament. I was like, you guys are just idiots. Like you just gotta watch like all the time. Why are you like saying like they're not good? Like they haven't lost since 2018. Like like where are you getting that they're bad from? It's like we were losing and didn't make it to the World Cup because we had idiots running our team where we have 2 midfielders against a 5-man midfield in Spain. Like that's why we lose, not because they're not talented. Like these guys are great. Like Verratti goes to a Champions League final, is one of the best in the world, is his position. Gijo's still a prodigy, even though he loves money more than clubs. It's just to me they go crazy, but I think they're the same type of people that think Pirlo always played for Juve. I'll put it that way. So they're gonna go crazy for that.
I think those exist everywhere. We have some of those people.
Oh, it's very prominent over here. All the new age Azzurri fans, they're all Juventini. All Juve fans. Because of Pirlo. Because of Pirlo.
I feel bad for them. They chose the wrong team.
Also, if you're gonna be a bandwagon team fan, I mean, it helps if you're gonna choose a team that wins 9 in a row. I mean, you're never gonna suffer heartbreak until this year, pretty much. But
domestic, yes.
Yes, that's a good point.
Sorry.
I said domestically, yeah.
Domestically. Yeah. Outside of Italy, it's a different story. But anyways, we regret we come back.
I had to.
It's okay.
Attaboy, Marty.
Well, Adri, did you have a question first? Because I was going to ask about the knockout phase.
Well, it was 2 great games. Let's put it that way. We know Martino knows anybody that's a serious Azzurri fan or just fan of the Italian national team knows that. We had 2 great performances. Maybe it surprised some people. Maybe it didn't. At this point, I don't care. It happened. But you know what? 2 players that won the man of the matches now in both our games are maybe 2 players maybe some people didn't expect. The first game, Spinazzola, I got to give credit where credit's due. I don't know where he was for Roma. I know he's had a bit of the injury bug and whatnot, but man, like I didn't know how much confidence I had in Spinazzola. Now I know I can put my confidence in a player like that. Not only is he fast, he's creative. He can put in a ball. He can take a shot. He's just aware. He can defend. And, it's crazy. So, Martino, I just wanted to first, I guess, get your thoughts about Spinazzola, man of the match in the game against Turkey, and then today. I mean, was it not the Locatelli show today? And obviously, Martino, as a Milan fan, saw him grow up at Milan, and myself included. And maybe now a bit bitter that he's kind of growing up and doing what he's doing. But you know what? He puts on the Azzurri shirt on. I'm a fan no matter what. And 2 great goals today. Incredible. I mean, the shot outside the box reminded me of the goal against Juve and the goal against Sassuolo, early days Milan, right? So it was fantastic to see and to witness. We know we were cheering hard for that. So, Martino, I just wanted to get your analysis, I guess, on Spinazzola, man of the match against Turkey, and Locatelli, the man of the match today against Switzerland.
It was funny, like Spinazzola never solidified that spot for a little while. Though I felt like our fullback positions were always kind of up in the air. They always leaned towards Florenzi on the right side, but left back was really open for a while. This is just a classic. He just plays with a lot better players than he does at the club level. And there's no disrespect to Roma. All my family members, as Johnny knows, are Roma fans. They're a mess right now. And when you have someone you could overlap with Insigne, who has some of the most underrated work rate that you'll see in a player, that a lot of people really don't give enough respect to, in my opinion, he's just allowed to shine. And when there's a lot less pressure on a guy like that and he's able to play more freely, I think that's where he takes over. And you're able to finally see that pace. Yeah, he's had injury issues too. And again, like if he goes through to Inter, that guy is like Conte's team might have gone undefeated. No joke. I think can you imagine them with him as a left wing back in that formation? Man, that would have been unbeatable in my opinion. But yeah, listen, I thought he was always this talented, but I think he's actually kind of taken a different gear. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see offensively this. I thought doing some things, but the way he was navigating through the box today and beating his guys in front of him.
Overs. Holy fuck.
They had no chance. Honestly, I thought he was just great. I thought the way he was playing in that first set, I thought he was going to get man of the match again. I was like, oh my God, he's on his way again, a second time. Locatelli, bittersweet, but what can you say, man? You hope he does great for Italy is all you can say at the end of the day. At least give me some semblance. It's still kind of tough to root for him, but I was never angry at him. We all knew, all Milan fans really were angry at management for what went down. But the shooting technique with the left foot, I don't remember that. Yeah. I don't remember that one. He used to do right foot. Yeah, absolutely great shot. But, oh, man. Even, and people are like, oh, deflection. That was the slightest of deflections. That placement was still there. That was going bottom right corner.
Exactly.
He's got everything it takes to be world class. Only issue is they're probably taking 3 of our best players, and that's PSG. That's the only thing that sucks. Because I think he's probably bound there right now, unless Juve make that push for him. But I think just great. And it's funny because you could argue our worst midfielder, has been Barella. And Barella's been awesome. So it's just he got the assist today too, I believe, right? To Locatelli on that goal.
Sir. Yeah.
I mean, what can you say? It's awesome. If you could tell Marco Verratti, take your time coming back, bro, it's a good thing. I'm genuinely excited because there's a lot of pressure to a young Italian midfielder. I honestly, besides Tonali, Locatelli had that hype. Where you remember Berlusconi in training, he stops by and he says hello to the Primavera players. He's like, I heard you're Pirlo. You're just like him. And he's just laughing and kind of shying away from it. Those were what the hype was coming from, right? We all remember that. To see that happen, and he's still so young. I think he's 23. Correct me if I'm wrong. Amazing. And he's only going to get better. He's just scratching that surface now of that. And the amount of confidence that boosts you, man of the match, 2 of those. Oh my God, man, just awesome. And the work rate too. He's running right in for that Berardi goal and that link up play. So
and the pass to Berardi, incredible. Again with the left foot, Marty. I mean, we were speechless today outside watching the game. We were speechless. I mean, not only did he create the play, he had enough brains as a young midfielder to continue on the run and get in a dangerous position and put the ball in the back of the net. And we were stoked about that, but it was incredible. It almost looked like it was going out of bounds, but again, these are the Sassuolo players. Many people wanted to count them out. Why are we bringing these Sassuolo? Who's Sassuolo? Well, now we see in front of our eyes that chemistry and that link-up play and that awareness and just knowing where each other are on the pitch. And at first I thought it was Immobile who scored. Then I saw it was Locatelli, and I'm like, incredible for him. I mean, it's he's a young player. Like you said, he's only going to get better. And I totally agree with that. And again, this is another scenario where it's kind of a good problem to have. We still have Verratti on the back burner. Like you said, if he takes his time to come back, if we see him against Wales or we see him in the knockout stages, that's fine, man. If this team is rolling like this, I think every Azzurri fan will take that to the bank. So it's exciting moving forward, I think.
And it's funny how you bring up the Milan versus Juve goal because I remember Yelty Goal made fun of that game and they're making fun of Tiziano Crudeli. So when Locatelli scored twice, all I heard was Locatelli, Telly, look at Telly. I was laughing by myself like an idiot in the cafe, and everyone's like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "It's a video. It's a video. You have to know who Tiziano Crudeli is before I explain it."
So moving forward, so Italy qualifies for the round of 16.
First team.
Obviously, yet to be determined if they're going to finish first or second. So Wales on Sunday, they basically just need to not lose to Wales, and they'll finish first. At that point, they'll play the runner-up of Group C, which is Austria, Netherlands, Ukraine, or North Macedonia. If you look at the bracket, they could face some tough teams before the final, like Belgium, like France. I want to ask you what do you think of Italy come around to 16? How far they could go. But also, I saw this quote on Twitter. It was Carlo Gargagnese who shared it. Apparently, it's from Patrick Vieira. I don't know where he said it, but he said Italy lack intensity, so I doubt they will go all the way. What do you think of that quote? And will Italy go all the way? How far do you think this team could go?
Right. Well, I don't know why he's saying that. That's just like classic. Like I would expect that from a Premier League commentator. Well, technically he could be, right? Because he's made his name in the Premier League, so it's kind of on brand. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. It's just whatever. It's just ignorant. You know what I mean? It's just lazy. It's ignorant. It's like you're not watching a match. Like
it's a cheap comment. It's a cheap comment.
You can't even quantify intensity. Like, are they lackadaisical? No. Are they not running all the time? They have the highest press of an Italian team that you could remember, especially in our lifetimes. I think it's lazy from where it's coming from. So he doesn't think he can go all the way. Ironically enough, of the country he used to play for. Is someone they could face in the semifinals. I think they could beat anybody. Anybody could beat anybody in these games. Listen, we thought shoo-in, especially in a singular match. We thought shoo-ins for 2002, easily the second most talented team outside of Brazil in that one. They don't get robbed, they go deep. 1994, you go to penalty kicks, it's a crapshoot. Same thing in 2006, but France, what you could argue wasn't better than Portugal, wasn't better than Brazil, still made the final, got there. I think there's part of me that's just going to be gutted if this is going to be a 2012 repeat. I think this team is just so good, and I know the path is to face France, but I think we beat France. There's a part of me that says is that our final, where they get a little too hyped up from winning that they kind of let down in the final. I think we're clearly better than Belgium. Honestly, I just don't I don't see it. I think you're a little worried at the end of the day about Lukaku, but Hazard is out of shape. The guy needs time to get back into that form. I don't think he's going to do it. De Bruyne, he might play in the second match. He already missed the first one. And he hasn't played since that Champions League final, so we're approaching a month now. And it's probably going to be at least a month by that time, but we'll see. Round of 16, I don't know. It's all about matchups, man. I think a little people are still a little weary about 2016, when we got that second goal and it took us down the harder path. I don't know. I'm just not worried about it. I just have confidence in this team. And I think everyone's doing that. And the funny thing is too, people are dark horse for Italy. They're not people are underwhelming them. Those are the fans that do that. It's not the players. Belgium knows how good Italy is. France knows where they play Ukraine, Netherlands, whatever team they face out of there. They all know how good Italy is. It's no secret how good Gigio is. Well renowned about, Chiellini, Bonucci. That midfield has a Champions League winner in it. It has a Champions League finalist in it. It has a Serie A winner in it. It has Insigne off the back of his best season in his career, in my opinion. Immobile, too, the way you bounce back after the season, with 36 goals. He scored 20 goals or more in Serie A for 5 straight years. And I think the last player to do that might have been Di Natale. Like, he's proven. Like, all these guys are proven. Like, he's beaten out, like, Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, and Harry Kane for Golden Boot in the league. Like, these guys are really good. And again, it's just because they might have not been on a Juve team that won a Champions League, or like Milan team. Like, it's just because the league isn't as great shape as it used to be doesn't mean the players are not as good. It's different. It's a dynamic. It's all spread out. It's got to be the most diverse 11 in terms of clubs that I remember. Like,
that's a good point.
We got Roma, PSG, Sassuolo, Lazio, Napoli, Juve, PSG again at that point, and then Roma. Like, it's just everywhere you go. And then Castrovilli is like a guy coming on as like your fifth option. I think he's great. I think he's a better option opposed to Cristante. No disrespect, but it's, I mean, just like, and it's a team. Like, they play together as a team. Like, there's some countries where you look at their talent and you're like, okay, like, the way they play isn't great. Like, but you see Belgium, like, what was it, 3-0? It was like, there's nowhere, like, there's two different types of 3-0 wins. There's Italy's and then there's Belgium's. And then even England too, bro. Like, we're talking about all this hyped stuff. Like, their 11 was abysmal. They didn't play great. Croatia is like old and tired, man. Like, we talk about Chiellini being old. Like, dude, these guys are ancient. Yeah, I don't know. I think we could win the whole thing. Absolutely. I've said it for years, but I give respect to France because France is insane. But also, like, France has got to make 3 straight finals again. So it doesn't happen often. It's a very difficult thing to do.
Spain did it. Spain did it recently. I mean, it's possible. But I want to touch upon a little thing you said there about.
It's hard.
I want to touch upon like the little thing about the Serie A thing. Like, yeah, the league is not the same as it used to be from like the late 80s to the early 2000s, and you can even argue mid 2000s. But quality, I feel like, is there. And I like your point about it, because I'm pretty sure you saw the tweet. And Frank Crivello shared it too. So far, 45% of goals scored have been from Serie A players, and 53% of the man of the match winners have been Serie A players. And I hope that these numbers kind of stay steady to the end, because then an argument can be made against these people who call Serie A Farmers League, or essentially the Serie A teams are pizza factories of soccer players to feed the Man U's, the PSGs of the world. You know, like, I mean, call a spade a spade. Yes, the oil money clubs are always going to come in and they're always going to swoop up talented players because they can offer them 12 to 15 million a year because it's nothing to them, you know. But personally, I feel like it'll give me like a feeling of respect that, like, you guys can call us Farmers League, but if you look at the entire Euros, it's been Serie A players that have been performing, and in turn, it's going to probably make the players open up their eyes a bit, like, hey, some of the world's best talent is in Serie A. If I want to be at that level of being top tier quality, I'm going to go play against the best. I'm not going to stay in a league where, let's say I'm a big fish in a small pond, because you don't grow that way. You only grow when you're playing against people that are better than you, and you have to elevate yourself. I'm just giving a personal opinion here, but yeah.
I mean, listen, one of our not best managers won the Premier League with Leicester.
Sure,
that's our football. That's our football, and this, like, you know, like, to me,
don't tell them that. They never admit it. They'll never admit it.
They won't. And this is the weakest our league has been financially. I mean, like go ahead. Like, we just got bad at the wrong time. Serie A got weak at the wrong time. Like, Milan and Inter, weak at the wrong time. Juve, perfect time. Like, they do everything right with the way they progress with their stadium. Social media is a little shoddy. I think the logo is terrible, but still, like, they get it. They're innovative. They try and change things, and the way they do business. The second, like, it's kind of unfortunate long term for Serie A with the Inter situation, unless it gets resolved sooner than later. The second, like, those two other North clubs are back to, like, consistent Champions League stuff, and they can figure out a stadium, then the respect will even return. Like, I know you got, I can't think of a hockey comp enough for like a disrespected franchise, but we're literally just the San Antonio Spurs of football and Calcio. Like, we just keep winning. It's not always the sexiest thing. Like, we have 4 World Cups. Like, everyone talks about Spain, especially in America. Like, Spain is us or Spain is Germany. Like, they're not.
if in hockey terms you can give yourself since you started watching, well, it's recent. I'm going to say recently, but the Devils.
It was
The Devils
recently,
won 3
yeah.
Stanley Cups. The Devils won 3 Stanley Cups playing the trap system. It was people hated that type of hockey because they would just basically clog the middle. They would clog and like it would win games 1-0. But if you have a guy like Marty Brodeur in nets and you have Scott Stevens on the blue line, you know, like if it's a 1-0 game that you need, that's all you need. Go ahead, you know, like you don't have to have like flashy goal scorers.
Yeah, if it's so easy, like go do it then.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's like then you're saying you don't want to win at that point.
But 100%. If it wins, it wins. All that counts at the end of the day is a W, right?
And that's why it's always like great to like everyone's just like the way they talk about Holland over Italy too. It's like Holland's got one. The way they talk about Portugal, they just got one. Like Portugal, England, Greece, and the Dutch all have the same amount of international tournament wins and trophies. That's it. Those are those four. And you know, it's clearly Germany, Brazil, Italy, but no one wants to respect Italy. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, what else can you say? It's just the way these people operate. It's the way they work. I mean, it's fine. Like, keep on telling us like we're the underdog. And it's still like the funny thing is, I think of all things is that they still think that it's like a strong defense. If you hear these commentators, it's like, bro, you don't know what a strong defense is. Like, this is embarrassing for us, honestly.
Our defense,
and it's no disrespect to our guys. Our guys are pretty good. They're pretty good players, right? But I mean, we're way better defense than England.
The weakest defense in the longest time, honestly speaking. And,
our defense is our offense. You know, they haven't conceded in 10 straight games now because they attack so much, because they have the ball so much. But what's the expression? Best form of defense is attack.
Your offense.
That's what. That's what.
There isn't a better midfield besides maybe France on their best day. And honestly, like the French midfield is really just controlled by two main guys. Pogba and Kante are the guy. Like Rabiot is not better than Jorginho. He's not better than Barella, and he's not better than Verratti. Locatelli, no, I don't even think he's better than him either. I'm sure.
That's why Juve fans want Locatelli. I mean, Rabiot. Honestly,
upgrade.
I don't mind Rabiot. He's just so inconsistent. When he's good, he's honestly so good.
But you don't pay €7.5 million a year for
exactly.
When you're good, that's the difference. Your pay becomes more of a talking point if you don't shut people up about it. Like when Gigio signed a contract, and I don't know, like in 2017, start playing like garbage. Then it's like, oh, you wanted $6 million a year? Like what? You're not even playing close to it. Like it's just always that conversation. So, I don't know. I think we could win the whole thing though. We're just, kind of hoping for. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'd rather face France in the semifinals than a final. I'd rather lose in a semifinal than a final any day. I'd rather. I know it's like people are like, oh, we make a final, it's a better accomplishment. It's like, no, save me the heartbreak, bro. Like, just kill me now, please.
That's a good
I still have bitter memories of 2000. As I was a 7-year-old kid, but I was so especially like when you earlier on when you said there was that hate for like your uncles had that hate for France, like it started for me at 5, losing penalty shots to them, then losing a final to them in 2000. Like I just like F the French. I can't
but it's the sweetest revenge after. I don't know. I don't like France just isn't. They looked. I don't know. I don't know about you guys. They don't look completely impenetrable.
Especially after their game against Germany, it took they're already a good team, and it took an own goal by Hummels to get a win, right? In the group of death where there's 2 other good teams in there with Portugal and Germany. No disrespect to Hungary, but it's like I don't know, man. Like they didn't impress me. I don't know. Like maybe their next game will shut some of us up. I don't know, but good team. Everybody knows that they need that.
They're not the Spain teams.
No, but we got to give respect where and credit where credit's due, like you said. And I think that's fair because they are the World Cup champions and they made the finals in 2016. So you got to give the respect, but at the same time, like you said, Martino, on any given Sunday, as the term goes, anybody can beat anybody, right? So. I think it's, I don't know. We had said semifinals. I know we're back and forth. I wouldn't be upset, depending how they played, if they got bounced out in the quarters. I know that might sound bad now because they're playing so well. I was always leaning towards the semis, but if they make the finals, they go all the way and they prove a lot of people wrong. Like, I guess I'll take that as well. But they will need to win because, like you said, Martino, I'm not taking no losses in the final.
It's the only thing I'm missing in my fandom as a Calcio fan. It's a Euros win, really.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
I've seen pretty much everything. I got to see the other stuff again because I was still pretty young, but
yeah, it starts from
here. And because we play well in the Euros too, like we have.
Yeah.
It's not like we've had. I think 2004 was probably the worst one recent in this millennium. I think, right? Like,
08 we lost in the quarterfinals to Spain in penalties. Quarters, 12
Germany was quarters as well.
Yeah.
08 loses Spain, eventual champions. 2012 loses Spain in the final. 2016 loses Germany, the defending World Cup champions. So we've gone out to the good teams at least.
Yeah, and all those teams weren't as great. Like 08 lost a lot of the luster from the 06 team.
Yeah, big time.
2012 was like, I still don't know how we made that final. That's all Pirlo. That's all Pirlo, bro.
Too.
But and the defense was amazing. The defense was amazing. But 2016 was like the biggest overachieving thing I've ever seen in my life.
What are you talking about? I thought Giaccherini was world class. What are you talking about?
Yeah, honestly, like I died happy beating France. I was like, I don't care what else happens. Like, I'll get mad maybe. Like the Germany penalties. Like, I was just like, whatever, man. Like at the end of the day, like I didn't expect to be there. Some people disagree with that line of thinking, but it's the way it goes sometimes, man.
It was the fact. It was a fact. We overachieved. We had a group of nobodies that we all know that Martino and everybody that follows knows. Conte, worked some magic in that tournament. They got against quarters against Germany and they went out in penalties. I mean,
the world would have burned if they would have won in penalties, especially with guys like Pelé and Zazan not messing up. Like, it would have been hilarious.
That was the first time they knocked us out in a tournament.
The first time they ever beat us in competitive play. Germany has never beaten us out.
Yeah, they still haven't beaten us in regulation ever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
ever.
And you know what? It takes like a lucky shot on our end rather than theirs, and we move on, right? So, again, overachieving. Yes, I totally agree, and we all know that. But at the end of the day, we did make it that far with a group of nobodies when we got Eder, Pelé, and guys of that nature starting, and Giaccherini, starting and making a difference. It's kind of head scratching, but Martin, before we let you go, I had just two other quick things. We can't end this episode without continuing to send our best wishes to Christian Eriksen. Obviously the scary scenes in that Denmark Finland game, third game of the tournament. And, the whole collapse, and, everybody knows it. We just want to continue to send our best wishes to Christian Eriksen. We want to put it out there. It was a scary, scary time. It was a scary scene. Obviously, we give, tip our hats off and give much kudos to, the team doctors, the medics, some of the players, Simon Kjær as one of them, the captain, really stepping up when it was needed, and really saved Christian Eriksen's life. And obviously, he seems to be fine. He's still in hospital, but again, we want to send our best wishes. He's in our prayers. We're all with Christian Eriksen, and I don't want to hear this whole besides the colors, and it's a person's life on the line here, and you're not Danish, you're not an Inter fan, you're not whatever. It doesn't matter. I think his health and anybody's health comes before any of that. So again, from us three, our guest Martino, and everything else, we're going to continue to send our best wishes to Eriksen and his family. But before we wrap it up, Martino, we saw these two games. We have Wales on Sunday, like we mentioned. Who are your, do we change things up against Wales? Are we going to see a different Italy? Are we going to see a different lineup? Who are your players that have stood out, who have not really shined as much? Take us through that just before we wrap it up here.
I don't know. It's an interesting question. I think it all depends on what Chiellini's situation is like. I think don't play him. For sure. I think you don't play Verratti either. I think you do consider starting Chiesa in this one, for sure, because I think he's probably might be running into Bale. I just don't know the formation Mancini wants to go with. That's all. Because we already saw him lean towards the 3-5-2 and Toloi came on and Bastoni wasn't there. I think we need some updates on that. There hasn't been clear updates on Florenzi either.
True.
But all in all, I would just keep the same thing. I think if you want a Cherby and Bonucci there, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So yeah, I think just keep that same formation. And if the game is in hand to win or even draw against Wales at the end of the first half, then you just bring on subs. I think Chiesa needs more work, I'll be honest. As great as Berardi has played, maybe get Belotti a little bit more burn. Insigne got plenty of rest today. So again, if you can get him some more rest, just all that. And I hope for another win. Obviously. And maybe if Gigio, it's not such a bad thing if Gigio gets tested. I think he's one shot on goal so far. I think that double save, right?
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
Yeah. That's about it. And the world, I just want the world to kind of see this shot stopper he is, because we all know it. He just hasn't had that chance yet. We just had those heart attacks of the pass backs, but that's about it. But I hope for a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can all agree on that. I think it's expected now that everybody seems to. I see some pop-ups on like the Score app or social media. Oh my God, Italy's the real deal. Yeah, you guys, we've been saying this for how fucking long? Like we know, we know. But it seems like again, the world and Twitter and just the media wants to put us under the rug. And again, we'll take it. I think. Johnny, Nick, I don't know about you guys, but I think it has to be a win on Sunday, on Father's Day.
Yeah, and even if it's not a win, at least extend the streak to 30 games, tie the record in Rome, have a chance to continue it in the round of 16, to break the record in round of 16. So I think,
what is the record? 33?
30 that
it's 30?
They set in the 30s. Yeah? This is an 9-year-old record almost.
For Italy. Okay. I saw the overall record was like 33.
33.
35 or 33 or 35. Yeah. But either way, like they go all the way, they could beat that. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, I think according to Azzurri fan Phil, like if I remember his speak correctly, if they actually go all the way and win it, they break the record while doing it at the same time. So I think so that means like let's just hope that happens. But Italy's record would be nice to break if they do it. I personally, I'm not going to be an idiot and say like, I'm worried. Like I am a little bit worried because it is Wales. They're starting to get their legs moving a bit. I want them to win. I wouldn't be pissed off if it's a draw either. I mean, it would be nice to end the group stage run with 9 points. I don't think I've ever in recent memory seen Italy dominate a group stage round, like getting all 3 wins, and that would be nice to see. It would be very refreshing and very therapeutic, especially for what we've been through.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I agree. I think it's a must win. Not a must win, but like I would like my heart says like it has to be a win. It has to be a win. Like you know what I mean. Like I don't want anything but a win. But again, as long as the streak doesn't get tainted and broken there, I think everybody would be happy and everybody would take that. But again, this brings back to how we started the episode, and Martino hit on it pretty early. The confidence, right, guys? Like if we go into the round of 16 with more confidence and wins and smiles on people's faces, we can't we have to accept that, and it's a great feeling. And again, hats off to Mancini. I don't know. I haven't really looked if he's gotten much praise. I know we've praised him a lot. He took us from a dark place and brought us to where we are right now. We keep on saying it time and time again, but it's just the calmness, I think, by him on the touch line. Yes, he gets a little bit animated, but his demeanor, and I think it translates to the players. And not to get too down, if anything doesn't go your way, we saw a handball, which should have been a handball in the first game. We saw a goal called back on the Chiellini call, like we mentioned earlier. And again, the team regrouped. They scored a goal not too long after, right? And they went from there. 3 goals and 6 goals in 2 games. I don't know if anybody expected that. And again, Cheeto can't do it with the national team. I don't know. It's he's been doing it, so we'll ride that as long as we can. I agree though with going into the Wales game. I think maybe Belotti can get a start. I would like to see maybe Cheeto get a bit of rest. Maybe Jerry Mancini will say otherwise because he always wants to see his boys shine. But if we're smart, exactly. If we're smart, I think it would be in our best interest. But yeah, I think it's exciting, guys. It's exciting going forward. And Marti, I think that's pretty much all we had for you tonight. We can't thank you enough for coming on and chatting Azzurri. I know we're going to have you on later down the line when it's Serie A time to have you on to talk some Milan, because I know we have to talk Milan one day as well. But honestly, we can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your night.
Oh, no problem.
Where can everybody find yourself and all the work you do? State of Play podcast, Milan Reports. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Yeah, just follow me at Martino Puccio on Twitter. That's really it. I don't really have anything like Facebook, Instagram like that anymore. I got sick of it. I just have this because it's news and you get to interact with fans like that, like you guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on. You guys are awesome. You always put out great content. Most kind people, or some of the most kind people.
Thank you.
Trust me. When you're from New York, you don't get this type of politeness at all.
I know. We know.
Could not stress that enough. But yeah, it was awesome. I had a great time chatting that. Have you guys on? Neither of you guys are Milan fans except Adriano. But if you want to come on one day, we'll figure something out for Milan Reports prior to. Johnny can pick Roma or Napoli prior to the game, whichever one he desires, and then we'll have Nick prior to you.
Whichever one.
That way it's best. But you could just follow the State of Play podcast. I have some betting stuff on The Athletic that I write for them. If anybody is interested in that, I know some people it's like taboo for them still, but I have a lot of people up north in Canada I used to work with that are huge betting people. Do you guys know Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart at all?
No.
A little bit. Presidente from Milan Club Montreal knows him.
Presidente. I gotta speak to him.
And so does Jerry. Jerry knew him too. Like they both they're like I used to call into the show. Jerry knows everybody, man. He's like, I can only imagine how many more friends he's picking up now that he's a smoker. So I mean, you meet a lot more people that way. It's true.
That and that Immobile is shining, right? Like everybody's on the band.
That's the go-to account, right? Like this, and he's Premier League guys. You just gotta get him on. But yeah, just follow on there. Appreciate it again, guys. Truly a good time. Good luck to the Canadians. I know you're a Lightning fan, Adriano. I was told by Nick. So interesting. So it's okay. Hey man, I like the Celtics, and I'm from New York, so it's a little.
That takes some heat. That takes some balls, man. That takes
Next,
some balls.
he's gonna say he's a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know.
The Mets fan, but Jacob deGrom's hurt now, so I'm having a heart. That's why I kept looking away each time. Nervous.
Panic. Yeah.
Coffee didn't help.
But again, Marti, thank you so much for. That's it. The coffee didn't help. But again, thank you for all the kind words, the support you always give us. We can't thank you enough as well. And what else can we say? Forza Italia, right? So that's where we have to go.
Forza Azzurri. Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adriano Donardo, Gianni Delacoli, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The outro song is The Last Ones by Jazar.